Oh, hey everybody. Welcome to Variant Verdict, episode 14. Today we're going to be reviewing The Disaster Artist. Whenever Josh decides to fucking get here.
It's not true. It's bullshit. I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hey, Sean.
Can we get this started already? I've been waiting a while for this.
This is a good one. Welcome to episode 14. We're here together and we're going to review, like Sean said, The Disaster Artist, directed by James Franco. So let's just go and we'll get right into it. I love this movie. I love movies about making movies. It's a true underdog story, really. It's debatable how talented the person at the center of the film actually is, but there's absolutely no doubt that this movie is about chasing a dream.
No doubt.
And it makes it a true underdog story. It's one of my absolute favorites. What can you just give us a little bit of background? Where's the room at?
Well, the room, which is right over here. I was reading it when you were over here. Or when I was waiting for you, I should say. Now, if you don't know what the room is at this time, then you've been living under a rock. Now, this movie is infamous for how ultimately so bad it's so good. Ultimately, I find you're much more of the wise man when it comes to this.
All right, so this movie is it came out in 2003. Basically, nobody went and saw it on, I think it's an $8 million budget, which is still debatable as to how Tommy received the funds to fund this movie completely on his own. Anyhow, this movie came out in 2003. It was a complete bomb, but it's kind of taken on a life of its own after a group of college students thought that the screening of the film was hilarious. It began to catch fire amongst cinemaphiles, as being the Citizen Kane of bad movies, as they say. And it's a labor of love. It comes from a place where someone actually wanted to create something artistic, but it's made by someone who doesn't know how to make something artistic. He's never made a film before in his life.
Yeah, and you're going from absolutely no knowledge to directing a movie. What is it? Direct, produced, written, everything was done.
Written, directed, starring, and produced. Tommy Wiseau, front to back.
It ultimately would be the same thing as if I decided to do the same thing. I'd come out with something probably equivalent.
So the movie Disaster Artist is about the behind-the-scenes making of this disastrous film and everything that kind of went into it and what their aspirations behind making it were. And I think it resonated with James Franco. He was once an up-and-coming actor in Hollywood and L.A. He had dreams. He also does really weird artsy projects too, James Franco. So I could see where he may have found some sort of inspiration in Tommy's story and Greg's writing. It's about the making of this film, the kind of chemical combustion that had to come together for this thing to even exist. And it's about the reason I say it's an underdog story is because it's about two Hollywood actors. One who's young, who's Greg Sestero. He has really no other acting body of work. This is his most famous film, probably, but he's had minor roles in television and film. Him and Greg Sestero are these two up and budding actors. They meet in an acting class, and Tommy is just such a flamboyant personality in this acting class. He throws himself 100% into the role, no matter how hammy and awful it actually is. Yeah. He's fearless, and there's no doubting that Tommy's a fearless guy. He clearly does not care how he comes off.
Not at all.
And so Greg meets him in class. He's impressed because Greg's getting kind of reprimanded by his teacher in Hollywood and saying that he's kind of not good at his delivery. He's not feeling his parts.
Well,
blah,
he's
blah,
scared.
Blah. He looks like a scared little boy on stage.
Yeah.
Is her exact words. He's played by the wonderful Melanie Griffith. This movie's sprinkled with great cameos.
Oh, yes.
So he meets Tommy. He confronts him. He says, why don't you be my scene partner? I want to be as fucking fearless as you, Tommy. Tommy kind of gets him out of his shell immediately, and as the characters begin their relationship as friends in just like acting class, he eventually offers Greg the chance to move to his LA home. Yep. Things get a little weirder because Greg doesn't understand how Tommy has these things, where Tommy got his money.
And nor will Tommy tell him. Tommy won't tell him how old he is, how he gets any of this money.
Well, he does, but it's completely... We know as the audience, we know that as Greg, he doesn't believe it.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way Tommy could be the age. He actually says he's the same age as Greg throughout the story.
And he was like 19 when they met. So it was like, or something ridiculous like that. So it's impossible. But yeah, no, this movie actually, I'm going to say something a little bold, but I think this might actually be James Franco's best performance.
Absolutely.
There are times where watching this movie, I almost forget it's him. And I have a thing where if a well-known actor is doing a part, it's hard for me to look past it. Like if I see, Tom Hanks, Brad Pitt, or Leo, or somebody like that doing a role, I'm seeing the actor performing this character. Very rarely do I slip away and start thinking about it's Tommy Wiseau. He does him so good, it's kind of like scary. Like how good he does.
Yeah, this is the movie when it came out. I think it was 2018. I got it all wrong, but this was last year or 2018. I'm sorry, 2 years ago. The Golden Globes. It took home Best Actor, but it got a nomination for Best Picture as well, but it didn't win. But it won Best Actor for James Franco's.
As it should have, because that was fucking awesome.
He got to take Tommy to the Golden Globes, so that was kind of cool. That's probably one of the biggest highlights. He got to spotlight the guy who made The Room on,
the whole reason he's there.
The second biggest award show in Hollywood after the Oscars. So back to the story. What happens is the friendship starts to develop. Greg Sestero moves in with Tommy Wiseau, and they begin to go into pursuing acting, getting an agent, getting your headshots, doing auditions. And it turns out that Greg does land Iris Burton, actually, who's played by the wonderful Sharon Stone in another great cameo in this film.
Yeah.
She signs Greg to her agency, and, he's starting to get like a foot into the world of Hollywood. And it kind of sets off some timid jealousy, if you will, from Tommy Wiseau, going as far at one point to say, because he meets a girl, Greg, and he's starting to get jealous of that,
The moment he talks to a girl, it's just instantly like, all right, let's get out of here. Like, I don't fucking know.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Super clingy friend who provides, and this is just me, and I'm going to say this, maybe bold, I'm not trying to hurt feelings here, but if this guy honestly was coming to me, providing me these things, I'd be, like, scared. Like, I'd be like, why? This is weird. Like how nonchalantly you're doing. Like, I don't know if I'm going to get sold, killed, what. Like, I don't know.
And that's one of the things I liked about the movie is that I can't imagine anybody quite nailing down Tommy Wiseau but Tommy. But somehow James Franco really does it.
Holy shit. He's the most odd, like, unique person I've ever seen. To where, like, the way he talks, the way he acts, like, the things he says, it's just, I'm almost at times convinced it's a character and it's not actually him, but no, it's actually him. And it's just so, being able to take something so unique and then being able to copy it is like that well is kind of holy shit to me. So I give massive props to the performance.
Yes, exactly.
And even his brother was fucking great. I thought Seth Rogen was funny in it. Like, there are so many people in this movie, and in a way, when you like look at it and you're thinking about the people that are in this movie and everybody that's in it, and this is about the making of The Room, and sometimes I'm just like, I can't believe this is actually happening. Like, this is actually a movie about this movie, and just and
it's I like. Well, that's where he comes into wanting to make The Room, as they're both going through these auditions and all of that. They both kind of start to get to this part where they feel like they have to give up because Tommy's always the villain to the casting people. Greg's kind of like a stale actor. This is when he was very young, no less, like just going into Hollywood. He says, why don't we make a movie?
Yeah, they just make a movie.
He says, Tommy, don't give up on our dream. We're going to get into this acting business together. He says, let's make a movie. He says that to Greg, Tommy, and Greg's like, yeah, let's do it. Can you really make this movie? And somehow, that's where the interesting part is. He has all this money. He starts hiring Hollywood producers to come in and help him with the film. He starts getting cameras, and it just shows you like this whirlwind that was behind the scenes of this film. And like it's debatable. Is he a genius? Is he crazy? He's a little bit of everything.
And a dick too. I have no idea how that. I can't remember her name in the movie. The girl, the main lead in The Room.
Oh,
Lisa. How the fuck did I forget that?
Well, she plays Lisa, but
Yeah, no, but the girl who played Lisa, I did not realize or ever hear how much of a dick he was to her.
Yeah,
like that is
in the
holy
book,
shit.
The Disaster Artist, which I've read as well. It goes really deep into how Tommy how truly crazy he is. I think the movie glorifies him a little bit more.
A little bit,
It makes
maybe.
him to be kind of like an underdog indie filmmaker. He's just eccentric. And one point, Tommy even says, like, how did Kubrick treat his actors? How did Alfred Hitchcock, he put all his actors in rooms and threw birds at them? He's like, you know, you never, director is practically another word for dictator. He actually says that. So it's kind of funny how he's trying to mimic, like, the great Hollywood
But even he points out, he's like, and yes, and a lot of those people went down as asshole directors, like, that were mean and, like, horrible to work for sometimes. So it's like, he's like, you don't want to be that, do you? So it's like, no, but this went really well into it. It showed me some things about the making of this room, especially like the fact that the cast themselves were like, really? Like, you want me to say this? You want to do that? They're telling Tommy Wiseau that horrible story that Mark says. And he's like, ha ha ha, what a great story, Mark. It's like, that's not a funny story.
What's so brilliant about this with James Franco is he plays him with a sense of sympathy. You know there's more behind the character of Tommy that he gives you more than a rope like to pull on. The rest of it's kind of like surface Tommy that you see in all the interviews, but he allows the character to show you in the way he portrays him that there's definitely some darkness in Tommy that like it's not ever going to be fully explored. And that's kind of what makes Tommy this enigma.
Yeah, and the fact that he never truly will tell you anything about himself.
He makes a Home Alone statement about being home alone when he was growing up when he's talking to Greg at one point. He talks about how he got into a really bad car accident. He's really self-conscious about his age and you know, he's obviously really clingy with Greg throughout the film. So, like, he exhibits kind of, like, weird traits that clearly come from a place that's what makes him more interesting to me, from a place that's not really explored in the film. But you know it's there. And,
like, Google even says he's, like, 64 or something, but I feel like, I don't even know if that's real. Like, I don't even know.
I'm not sure either. You know,
This
is a really good movie, though. I think the cool thing about it too is that it seems like everyone's kind of in on it. It's become even bigger in Hollywood. The movie starts off with talking heads of like a who's who of comedians, directors. And,
J.J. Abrams
actors.
even talking about like it's this perfect lightning in a bottle, like one of the greatest movies kind of thing. And
the numbers they speak for themselves.
That comment that was made about how like this movie has been out for 10 years and how no one's talking about the movie that won Best Picture 10 years ago, but people are still talking about the room.
And
it's like Sean, when I heard that, I was like, holy shit, that's so true.
I went to the Coral Gable Arts Cinema for a midnight screening of The Room that included plastic spoons you threw at the screen. It came with a list of jeers and stuff that you did during the film. It was the funnest screening I've ever been to.
And it's the
new midnight movie.
It's the new Rocky Horror Picture Show.
This guy right here.
Yeah, it's the new Rocky Horror Picture Show. Like, where it's an event to go to when you finally see it. This is the same thing. It's what's taking the place of, like, Rocky Horror.
I would recommend it to people, too, who like movies about making movies, the process that goes into it. When someone has a singular vision and they just really go for it. I would recommend it to anybody who just likes those kind of movies. If you've seen Ed Wood, is a good example of comparison.
Oh, I love that movie.
Yeah, Ed Wood.
That's a great movie.
And I thought this movie was great. I would recommend it to anybody. I think it's I would say it's like the pinnacle for James Franco. I don't know other movies he's directed that I'm like crazy about, but I do know this one, and it's a good one. It's a really good one.
Really good. So yeah, we definitely give our recommendation to this.
And if you guys do get a chance to check out the movie Best Friends, they reunited sometime later. The actual Greg and the actual Tommy got together, and they put out a new series of films called Best Friends Volume 1 and 2. It's like a revenge kind of story of friendship. It's great. It's really funny, Tommy at his most unhinged, and I'm sure that's what you guys like. Check that out. I do a review, actually, of Best Friends Volume 2 here on our YouTube channel, and as well as my interview with the star.
I was about to ask you that. Yeah, so you interviewed
star
Greg
Mark
Sestero.
of The Room, the writer of the book Disaster Artist, Greg Sestero. That video is on our channel as well.
Yeah, no, definitely check it out. And yeah, I am definitely, it's funny, I personally have not seen Best Friends yet or anything, but I'm going to have to check it out just to see what kind of shit they came up with this time.
Yeah, this is it's like I said, it's I enjoy Tommy. I told him I think he's just immensely enjoyable to watch just because of watching him try to act serious is just hilarious to me.
It is.
So anyways, guys, thank you for watching. I hope this is something that you guys will check out. I know we're a little late and the movie came out last year.
Yeah.
But he hadn't had a chance to see it. I figured we'd use this opportunity to kind of shed a spotlight on our our coverage of previous stuff that featured Greg and Tommy Wiseau on the channel, and to watch just a great movie.
Oh, hell
like
yeah.
I said, the guy on this cover, James Franco, played him. He won Best Actor in 2018. It's a testament to how good this movie is. It's one of my absolute favorites. Can't recommend it enough.
All right, so don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. And also, if you guys have any recommendations or anything that you want us to check out, or maybe movies we don't even know about, or obscure things, any Fantastic Four from 1993s out there, go ahead and leave a comment down below.
Hell,
Let
if you
us
want
know.
us to even review The Room, that's an option.
I mean, everyone and their mother has reviewed The Room, so...
I'm just saying because I can't watch that movie
What?
enough.
I know. Well, what can we say that hasn't been said already? But who? All right. So anyway, all right, guys. We'll go ahead and see you next time. Have a great time.
Thank you for watching.